Yo, what's up, everybody? Y'all know what it is. Don't at me, Michael, Alex. We got a very special guest. I can't wait to get to this one. Y'all know how big of a hip hop fan I am, and Alex as well. So, man, this
and
real big
Alex
moment.
as well.
Real big moment, man, for the culture.
We're back, people. Don't at me live from Studio A in Beverly Hills. It's good to be here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Michael, take it away.
No, yeah, so let's get right to it, man. We got the one and only Chuck Dizzle, Homegrown Radio. Man, you guys are killing it out there, you and DJ Head. Welcome to Don't At Me, bro.
Yo, I appreciate this, man. That was a hell of an intro, man. I was trying to find my sound button. I got a little applause. I was going to try to assist, but of course it wouldn't work right at the moment when I'm trying to give myself that plug as well. But I appreciate you guys having me, man. And man, it's just an honor to be on, bro, for real.
No, yeah, man. Just respecting the grind, man, because we're doing the same thing, but y'all doing it at a whole nother level, man. So first question, I know the people want to know, how did you get into radio?
Wow. I mean, for me, like a lot of us, man, for those that are into radio was like my soundtrack growing up. Like if anybody can kind of relate to it, the first thing when I was going to school in the morning, we're listening to the radio. You know, when I'm headed home from school, the radio was the soundtrack. When I'm working on my homework, the radio was the soundtrack. On the weekend, the radio was always a soundtrack to my life. So I always liken myself to personalities like Big Boy. I'm gonna date myself, but John London in the House Party. There was other ones like Julio G.
Theo, remember Theo?
Theo, exactly. No. People still don't know where Theo's at to this day since like 2008. What's funny is that I actually worked with Theo prior to him actually like taking his escape or whatever the case was. And so radio was my soundtrack all these years, and I had an interest in it at a very, very young age. So when it was around that time where I said, okay, this is the thing I want to do as a career, I did my research, figured out you had to get an internship to do that. And obviously I did that through Long Beach State. And that was my intro into the radio business. I got an internship doing the promotions department at a station called 100.3 The Beat here in Los Angeles. And that was my foot in the door at that point,
Yeah. That's what's up.
We all had our journeys in college with radio, right? In our own ways. Oh, yeah. Like I went to school in Kentucky in the middle of Lexington. So I got the privilege of being, that one guy that would talk sports constantly and getting the option, with a radio station going like, oh, we need a sports show. So in a city that's super competitive like LA, is there anything that you would say to people that are coming up currently in the scene that would help them stand out, or any advice that you would give them?
Right now is the best opportunity for anybody, especially radio, to kind of do your thing, because you can do it from any city, any place, any state, anywhere you want to do it. You can actually start up, whether you starting a podcast, whether you're, standing out doing a blog, or, any way you can actually do that right now via social media. Sure. But as far as being in Los Angeles, the route that I took was really just kind of like figuring out the options that were out there, which out here was only two options in terms of like radio that I could do. So I walked my resume up there to each station just to try to get my foot in the door. It just so happens the Beat was the one that picked me up and called me up and said, hey, we have something available right now. Do you want to come down and try, figure out the whole story from there. But what I would just say is make yourself available, do research, and just figure it out. Like, don't make any excuses. Like there's opportunities out there if you search for it, if you do the research, and if you find it.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. It's like the doors open for anyone right now, because the podcast game and changed everything. So sure. Man, much respect for that. So for everybody out there, I'm pretty sure once they tap in, they're gonna see, man, Chuck Dizzle, Homegrown Radio, DJ Head, man, you guys are doing some great things.
LA's finest, Michael. Don't forget, LA's finest.
No, facts. LA's finest, up there with Don't At Me, of course.
There we go. It's Don't At Me up there. Homegrown somewhere below there, you know what I'm saying? And then, Sway and all them down there, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, Sway's all the way at the bottom. Even though I love my Five Fingers of Death, I got to say, Sway here, Don't At Me.
Right, up there for sure.
Thanks, bro. So, man, you and DJ Head, you guys are killing it now. Homegrown Radio is on 92.3. Man, such a big time moment. Like I said before the recording, that, man, I was tapped in from the get-go. So how did that come about, you and DJ Head connecting, and then now the next step you guys have taken?
Well, I mean, just to kind of piggyback off of before, like Long Beach State was an instrumental part of me getting into the radio game, bro. And so I did my internship there, and that was how I got my foot in the door at the radio station. And while I was doing my term there, I realized, like, anybody that knows, like, you have to start off at the promotions department level, right? There's promotions and there's programming. There's different facets of the radio station that you got to get in and kind of figure out. What I wanted to do was programming. I wanted to be on air, but you had to start off in the promotions department. Go to the street team, be on the street team, hit the streets, go out to the city, see different people, hand out T-shirts, all these tasks that, it's very important to radio, right? So for me, when I got my foot in the door and started doing that, I realized that radio wasn't what I thought it was. Everybody has this idea of, oh, you're on a radio station. That means you're a DJ, you're a personality. You can play any song ever, whenever you want to. It don't happen like that. So when I was on the street, I was a representation for these personalities that was on the station. So I was the first line of defense. When they would see me out there, they were like, yo, you're the guy. Can you have somebody play my record? I would get all of these mixtapes. I would get all of these promo items to different artists in the streets, right? And the thing that kicked it off for me, I would go back to the station, and anybody that works in radio, there's the promotion bin, right? There's the thing of all the items that you have from the radio station that you go out, hand out, and whatever's left over, you put back in the box, and they'll figure out whatever they want to do with it, right? So I would then go back to the station and give the DJ, like, hey, yo, this is so-and-so's mixtape that, I can't do anything with it, but here you go. Sure. Thinking that it was going to do something, right? Thinking that somebody's going to press play or whatever the case. Hey, my bad. I'm going to be honest with you. My fault. The garden's over here, so I'm keeping it homegrown right now. If y'all can hear it, there's a whole lot of stuff going on, but don't add me on that, right? So there were people that would give me their mixtapes, right? And I would give them to the DJs and the personalities. And there was one day in particular, like, there was the end of the event. I went back. I gave all these mixtapes away to different DJs, just trying to see whatever, right? And I go back before I leave. Everything that I gave them was in this promotional bin to be thrown away. And I'm like, wait, so nobody's going to listen? All right, well, I'll listen to it then, right? Yeah, so at that same time, while I was doing my internship, I had a college show at Long Beach State, and it was called Homegrown Radio. It was called something else before, but then it turned into Homegrown Radio. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give these artists the opportunity to get their shine because nobody else is listening to them. If the majors aren't going to play them, I'm going to do my due diligence and go through it and see what it is, right? Yeah. So that led into me starting that show kind of like geared towards the artists on the come up, those that didn't really have a voice. And one of the times when I was up there, bro, I'm leaving, right? And I'm going downstairs, I'm finishing my event, and somebody was actually finishing a meeting. We go in the elevator, and they're like, hey, oh, you work at the radio? Yeah, I work on the street team. My name is Chuck Dizzle, man. Nice to meet you. Oh, yeah, that's my name. My name is Dude Dog. This is the homie Punch. This is my boy J-Rock right here. Yeah, he's signed to Warner Brothers, and we're doing some stuff right now, trying to see what's going on. I'm like, oh, dope! I do a show at Long Beach State. We made that connection. It ended up being Top Dog Entertainment, right? The early days of Top Dog, right? So I mean, I say all that to say these are, we came up around the same time that these artists were coming up and doing their thing. Now superstars, now major, but we were all on the same grassroots level at that point. And for me, it was a very important part of my career to show, like, you never know who somebody's going to be. I could have easily shitted on these dudes, you know what I'm saying, in the lobby, right? True. Now, that wouldn't have been smart for me, you know what I mean? But just me, if you ever meet me, you'll get that sense of, like, I'll give anybody a voice. I'll give anybody a chance. I'll listen to your story. I don't give a fuck. That's me. Excuse me for the cussing. No, you good. I'll give anybody a chance to pitch me their story or whatever you got going on. And I felt like that's what I wanted the show to represent in the early days, right? Long Beach State, I was doing my show there, and Head was at Cerritos College. We had a mutual friend, rest in peace to the homie Smarts. Actually, Head put a post up about it recently about the whole little timeline and how everything went down. But he was like, yo, Chuck, he was bringing artists to me, and he was bringing artists to Head as well. And we all knew each other individually. But he was like, yo, Chuck, you know Head? I'm like, yeah, no, I seen, I know he hosts events. I see him here and there, but I've never like really met him like that. He's like, bro, you guys do the same shit. Like, you guys should link up. I think if anything, let me at least put you guys on a line together and just see where it goes from there. It just so happened that was right around the time that that was the end of me kind of doing my show at Long Beach State. I'd already graduated. I've been graduated 3 or 4 years. So I still was holding on to the key card at K Beach. I wasn't supposed to be doing my show there, but I was still there. People looked out for me. They knew what I was trying to do. So they were like, hey man, that's Chuck. We're just gonna let him slide. But it got to the point one year they were just like, all right, you got to kind of move on. We're gonna cut your key card off. So at that point, I moved into this apartment in Inglewood. I'm like, yo, I got to figure this out. I can't. The momentum of the show was already getting up there. We had just had J-Rock, Kendrick, Absol freestyling at Long Beach State, early days of TDE. So I'm like, I got to keep this momentum going. So I told Head, I'm like, yo, man, I'm thinking about doing this at my crib. I'm not the DJ, bro. And this was right when Head started becoming a DJ. Before this, he was just Head, right? So he was starting to get into DJing. I'm like, yo, this is perfect. I know you're a personality, but since you're DJing right now, why don't you handle the music? I'll handle the interviews, and just come to the department one day. Let's just see how it goes, bro. He came to the apartment 2009, never left, and that's how Homegrown started, bro. We just kept going after that, kept building, and people knew it was a special spot because they knew that, okay, we might not be able to get our records on this station or this station or this station, but we can go to Homegrown on Thursday at Chuck's apartment and they'll show us love, whether they play our music or it's just a welcoming environment. My wife was cooking in the kitchen, doing her thing. So it was just an environment of just like open arms and real like grassroots. You know what I mean?
No, and it's crazy because and it's so crazy because like Musa, that's my guy, that's my brother's guy. Like they were working together. Yeah. And I remember being in high school, like 06, and he like, hey bro, he gave me a stack of these Watts Finest Volume 1s, J-Rock.
Yep.
Hey man, this our guy, man. Spread the love over there at Lusinger High, man. I'm like, oh, of course, I gotta show love, bro. And then like meeting J-Rock and then K-Dot at the time and Soul, and just to think what they became is just like, man, that's crazy. And that's how, I see you guys' growth in the radio game. So much love to it, man. Hines, what's up?
That's I gotta admit, like, I love the concept of utilizing the name as a fit too. Like Homegrown Radio, you're not only like embodying the concept, but you're also living it through your radio and your work every day. So you're talking about, how you want to give basically the people that aren't getting the mass attention from the media, like a true platform. So right now, as things have changed and, COVID, the pandemic's come, and here we are now, what's, I guess, next on the agenda for you with your show, with the station?
I mean, for Homegrown specifically, is just building out the network. You know what I mean? At one point, we had other shows a part of the network, and we kind of had to take a seat back because we actually had a spot where we had all these, shows cultivating and just kind of moving forward from there. But we had to kind of let go of the spot a couple years back and kind of just take a seat and really figure out it. The good part about it is that around that same time is that when we got hired at Real. So it was like, okay, we got to pay less attention to this side and kind of pay more attention to this side. One of our mottos is, man, bringing radio back to its roots, right? So it's like balancing what's mainstream and the underground to just balancing those two worlds, right? So it's kind of weird how at that time we were going through that transition ourselves. So with that said, it was like, okay, we have to focus on, we want to do this serious. Me and Head are like radio babies, like that's our love, right? So here we are with this opportunity at Real 92.3, and it forced us to kind of focus in on that, right? But part of that, you had to kind of let go certain things. So I think now the goal is to focus back on the network, obviously with radio syndication. So we're not just in Los Angeles, that we're in different markets as well, man. So those are the major plans. My main thing though is just making sure that we have a voice in whatever space it is, right? Yeah. Prior to this, we didn't know, with podcast, we were podcasting before podcasting was popular, right? Yep. And now it's a thing. So whatever the next phase is, the next level in media, we want to continue that journey and have a voice for not only ourselves, but introduce other acts too. Because it's not just about me and Head. It's about our network. It's about people that come up under us. It's about the new voices, right? We can't hold on to the torch forever. That's never been our goal, our journey. It's like we've always been like wanting to give the voice and a platform for different people, whether it be music, DJs, radio personalities. So that's the next thing, at least on my side, is seeing like, how can we further the voice for not only LA, for the West Coast, but as far as hip hop as well, but making sure that we have a strong hold on that voice as well.
You were talking about your radio station at Long Beach, right? I had a completely opposite experience. So I was at community college at SMC for a couple of years, and I was an intern at KCRW. And that image that you said of seeing the bin filled, I will never forget my first day walking into the station and then being pointed out to where the submissions were. It was a whole room with racks in racks, right? That went not just to CDs, vinyl, to cassette. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, on KCRW, you never hear homegrown artists. You always hear mass media, or you hear shows like NPR stuff. Right. And my time there lasted 6 months. And I went into it with that same love. Radio. I love it. I'm a radio baby as well. That 6 month period actually killed my love for radio.
Really?
And it wasn't, because the environment wasn't conducive or welcoming. It felt to me like everyone was there serving a purpose as a cog in a machine with no end in sight. It seemed like everyone was content in the cycle that they were in. And it wasn't until I left to go to Lexington and actually was in a different radio market that I got to see the real, I guess, love, passion, and family aspect of what it means to be in a station, to be in a network, on a network.
Clearly that means that we changed your mind over there. I don't know if you heard about us, but the Good News Radio, that's what me and my team, we started, and kind of like with the idea that you guys have. So now we have 28 shows, 3 different networks. The Good News Sports, Good News Talk, now the TGN Latinx, and then we have a couple shows syndicated in Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. So that whole vision, bro, like we're gonna have to really tap in.
That is the best plug we've single-handedly ever had on this show, because it was a transitional shift in a conversation. Let me tell you, like, we're a part of this network and have never done a true shout out for it, but that was by far the best plug we've ever done.
Hey, you got to rip that part. That's the one you run ads on, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
No, but
we doing our thing, baby.
No, for sure. I think, and it sucks because like that's what happened when I got to the station. When I used to be at the Beat back in the day, there were certain personalities that for the most part, like they were instrumental as me, like for me knowing like, okay, you got to continue this. There were other personalities that made me not want to do shit. But then there was the other ones that worked on the weekends that kind of like liking myself, right? And they were like, look, we see the grind. We see you sneaking into the studio working on your air check when you're not supposed to. We like the little things that you're doing and going above and beyond. Here's what you can take outside of this radio station, and hopefully you can take that with your potential and move on. And for me, it gave me the no side, what am I trying to say? Like the insight of knowing like, okay, it's beyond what other people may present, right? It's beyond what the bigger personalities at the time. And I can't shit on every single person, but there were personalities that had the Hollywood mentality. There were the people that, keep the interns and these people out of the studio. There was a strict rule at one point that you could not go to the studio as an intern or somebody as a part of the promotions department, because certain personalities didn't want you to distract them or didn't want you to come in there. And, you know, because to be honest and to be fair, like there were like some people that took it upon themselves it's LA, right? So they're coming from different markets and they're like, oh, I can get on if I see so-and-so come in the building. So let me just sneak my way in there. So they were trying to do it to prevent that, but they weren't realizing that they were like, doing what they did to you, right? They were like pushing people away from the actual love. You can have a conversation with somebody and say, hey, look, today Kanye is going to be in the studio. Let's just fall back. We'll find something for you to do. But, you know, as of right now, his team is kind of really strict on this. Like, let's keep people away, right? But it was a very strict mandate of no, don't even go next to the studio because this personality doesn't want you in there. And that turned me off. But then the people that did show me love on the weekends, the ones that allowed me to come in there and help them chop breaks and help them pick different music and different things like that, those are the people that helped me keep that love for radio at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope, man. So we got to talk about this.
Wait, Michael, I got to do it. I got to do it just because you brought up the story, okay?
Go ahead.
I'm not going to drop names, but my first day at KCRW, I'm going around, you know, the usual introductions as an intern, right? You get to talk to the DJs for a moment, get to talk to the host for a moment, like 2 seconds. I met one of the top hosts on NPR, right? And I shook her hand. It was a pleasure to meet you. I've listened to your work for years. My father, of course, being an old Jewish man, is going to listen to your work literally since the day he was born to the day he dies. So, of course, I have to show some love. And she says, pleasure, turns around. And as she's walking back into the booth, I'll never forget this. She goes, where the fuck is my latte? And I'm thinking to myself, everything that I was shown on TV that I thought was a joke or a caricature or some type of exploitation, no, it actually exists in reality. It's founded in reality. There are people like that. And
I interned at KTLA, bro, so I can tell you so many things, man.
Okay, KCRW as a small little station in a community college, right? Versus KTLA, who's like the news for Los Angeles.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But we got to talk about it, man. We got Chuck with us. So, man, let's talk about the Mount Rushmore West Coast rap. I got to know your four. So let's get right to it, Chuck. Who's in your top four for the Mount Rushmore? Because I saw Revolt TV, they had theirs. I think it was like Pac, Snoop, Dre, and then it was a question mark for who's fourth. What would be your top four?
Wait, are we talking personal or like what are we saying?
Personal.
Oh yeah, mine's is easy. It's no look, and I get shitted on because I have this opinion, but it is what it is. And I'm gonna just leave it. I'm gonna throw another one in there just because I usually have my top three that I'm always like my go-to. My top three, without a doubt, is Pac, Snoop, and DJ Quick. Right? Those are my top three. If I gotta throw somebody else in there, it's gonna be a toss-up between Ice Cube and E40 because of what they do for the West Coast. And I feel like the Bay needs to be represented just as much as far as this is. I feel like I have a West Coast bias. So everything that I say is gonna be about West Coast. So that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I know it's hip hop, but I feel like there's always an East Coast bias when it comes to these lists and things of that nature. So I'm sticking with it. And if you say something about Pac being from the East Coast, he grew up in, you know what I'm saying? He was made famous out here on the West Coast.
We adopted him.
Exactly.
Like Kobe is from LA, basically adopted wise. Same with two.
Yep. Hey, so I love that, man, because I think a lot of people don't give enough respect to Quick, man. Quick is like his production.
I go to bat for Quick every single time. Producer and we can have a separate conversation as far as producers, but producer and a rapper, I feel like he's bar none like one of the best to do it.
Yeah, because the bars, like I'm still driving around banging Quick, man, because he's incredible. So with me, I would probably go Pac, of course, Snoop. I just think that Dre is just to another realm with the totality of everything he do. So I don't even throw him in here. I go Pac, Snoop, Quick. I want to say Cube, but people always hate on me though. People always hate because I'm such a big Game fan. I think that Game has been incredible from documentary, Doctor's Advocate.
He's a Game stan. Let me make that clear. A Game
stan.
Because Game, I think that lyrically people sleep on him, and some of his away from the booth antics pull people away. But I think that bar for bar in the history of the game, that he can challenge a lot of people. He shut down G-Unit. Like G-Unit was the biggest thing.
A lot of people don't talk about that too. Shout out to my
folks on this. People want to forget about it. That's why.
Shout out to my folks at On This Date in Hip Hop. My folks over there on this Date in Hip Hop. They just posted something where it was like the anniversary of him throwing his G-Unit chain in the crowd in New York. I mean, like the balls of this dude. But a lot of people don't mention the Game in this regard as well. He was the perfect balance between new and old at the time, and he held down the West Coast at a time where shit was dry. You understand? The documentary, you know, kind of like gave us that extra breath at that one time, and he was the perfect merger between New West and Old West at that particular time. So I mean, I'm not mad at your decision on Game.
Of course, you know, you got 40. That's right there. I even say Too Short just because of his legacy.
Yeah, right.
Those have been.
You talked about Too Short before the show and said he wasn't going to be in your Rushmore. So come on, don't even rely on
that. I'm saying that he's. But I got Kendrick. Kendrick is coming, so he's gonna be on there for sure because Kendrick is amazing. But yeah, I always have to give respect to Game because at a time where the West Coast is dry, we had like Bishop Lamont, Clyde Carson, G Malone. Shout out to our guy Glasses. Game was the guy holding it down, so I got to give him his love. I'm curious to hear your top four.
Let's go. Don't at me. Let's go.
All right.
Crazy.
All right. So West Coast. We're going with West Coast?
Yeah. You can give your top 4. Give me your top 4.
No. I'll do West Coast. I'll focus on West Coast, right?
Okay.
I'm going to agree. I got Tupac for sure. All right. I have to show love, not as an individual. I know Michael and I talked about it prior to the show. He was like, I got to show love to Ice Cube. And I'm like, look, I got to go back to the origins. You can make the claim that NWA was pretty much all carried and written by Ice Cube.
I know where you're going with this.
But all of NWA as a whole, I'm going with all of NWA as a whole. You don't change the music scene. You don't change a generation. You don't change the hip hop scene on the West Coast without getting all that respect. So of course I had to put all of NWA up there too. So that counts as 1 for me. All right.
You just made me think. I'm sorry. Keep going. All NWA. Go ahead.
These 2, I'm going to get a lot of flack for in my 4th one. All right. I got K-Dot, of course. I grew up in the generation with Kendrick Lamar. Like high school for me was that period where I got to listen to, like, middle school was really when he was K-Dot, but high school is when he was Kendrick Lamar. So I got to watch him in middle school practically graduate with me into a new role as Kendrick Lamar and see that play out. Mm-hmm. And then 4th, this is probably my personal top 3 artists. Schoolboy Q, 100%. I rock with Schoolboy Q. Let me tell you something. Oxymoron was the album that encompasses, and it sounds so stupid because it really doesn't have much of a relation, but it was just about the time and where I was mentally. Oxymoron to me encapsulates all of my time in high school. As an album, if I go back and I listen to each song individually from studio to my favorite Q song is by far Break the Bank. If I listen to that album, I can picture myself in those points in life, listening to those tunes for the first time going,
hey, Himes,
fresh air.
Himes, the Jewish guy likes the song Break the Bank, huh?
Come on, bro. Hey. Schoolboy Q can talk. I mean, Jay-Z even shouted out. Shout out to old Jews with old rules. Come on, you know how we roll.
You know I mess with Q. That Setbacks, I'm still playing Setbacks.
Setbacks was fire, man. Setbacks was fire. Man. So wait, okay, so you got NWA, you got Q, you got Kendrick. Who was the last one?
No, he had Tupac.
There we go. Okay, got it.
That's in no order. I'm not putting it in order. It's unfair.
You saying that, and again, let me just reiterate. My list was my favorite, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like you can't mention. I'm glad you mentioned NWA, but you can't mention the Mount Rushmore of West Coast hip hop without saying Eazy-E.
Yeah,
cannot. It's just one of those things.
That's why Eazy-E is a part of it. Yeah,
it's the whole collection
of the story.
Business wise and him having that know-how of just putting things together and knowing how to put together all that, man. So gotta give love to Eazy-E for sure, man.
Facts. And then
I gotta say, I'm genuinely surprised I did not get any flack from anyone here about Schoolboy Q because I get flack all the time.
We rock with Quinn.
we rock. Q is actually if he is the funniest one a part of TDE.
Facts.
Now, what's crazy is that all of them are hilarious, but you see it more with Q than you see with anybody else. They all got jokes, man.
Yeah,
that's the man. I would, if there was anyone on this planet that I'd like to personally roll a joint and smoke with, it is Schoolboy Q.
He'll roast your ass the whole time too.
I know, and that's why I want it. I am here for it. Don't at me on that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to blaze with Soul so he can spit some insane bars that's gonna have me thinking for months. Like, damn,
dude, that's gonna put you in a place. That's gonna make you think about shit.
Yeah, Soul gonna have you smoking on some shit that's gonna have you. Yeah, it's way beyond what you're ready to think about.
Michael's gonna be sitting there reading poetry books by the end of the night, pulling out Shel Silverstein. I wonder how this could make me feel now.
Yo, you made me just think about that. Because I don't smoke like that. I stopped drinking 5 years ago. But here's the thing.
Congratulations, man.
Appreciate that. So, but there was one time I was at this promo event. It was for one of Snoop's albums. I actually
Snoop Lion?
No, it was oh man, I can't think of it right. I think I want to say it was the Blue Carpet Treatment. I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna tell you guys later on. But anyway, we were at this event and it was real intimate. I forgot where it was at, but Snoop was rocking on stage and he talks up and he passes it to me. And I don't the times that I do, it's real chill. I'm at home, I'm relaxed, I don't do anything. But I mean, come on, Snoop Dogg passes you. You gotta just. I took it, and now I feel like that's. And it could have been anybody in the crowd. I just happened to be standing there, but I can go down and say I actually smoked with Snoop. So that had nothing to do with anything, but I think that deserves a round of applause or something. You know what I'm saying?
That is by far the craziest story to come on this show. Let me tell you, we've heard some weird stuff, but that's the coolest stuff. To be passed a joint by Snoop Dogg himself.
You're not gonna take it. I feel like even if you don't smoke, just like, yo, I gotta do this for the story. Like, come on now. For sure.
Come on, man.
Hey, so I just want to shout out a couple.
My mind is blown real quick. I'm sorry.
Oh, my mind was blown after the fact.
Man. Hey, shout out to my one of my favorites of today in the West Coast, Blast, man. He's out here doing his thing.
Amazing.
Incredible vibes. I always say that he the vibe of the city. Of course, we can't wait for Kendrick to drop something new. So I'm just waiting for TDE to just go crazy with this pandemic.
Hey, that Tupac Must Die video goes down for me as one of the best videos from a stylistic perspective.
Yeah.
100%.
Sure.
We've had Glasses
he got
on
a lot of he had a lot of flack for that one because people didn't understand. People don't understand how much of a genius G Malone is, but he also likes to debate and do crazy shit online. So a lot of people but I understand the angle, and from an artistic view, people need to give props to G. He's a very, very talented dude. Man.
G is our guy. I always debate with him about basketball.
Oh, he has crazy hot takes for sure.
No. His hot take is Ben Wallace. Mike, actually, Michael, do it.
He'll call me and we'll go back and forth. I still haven't changed his mind, but his take is that Ben Wallace is better than Patrick Ewing. Like he's taking Ben Wallace. I will never get it,
and so you'll never get it. You'll never get it. Just let it go.
Agree with
You'll be arguing and not in what is the thing is sports isn't my thing, so I'm not gonna go back and forth on that. But either way, when it comes to certain topics, we're not gonna sit there and debate because I've been in studio with him for 2 or 3 hours, and one of the studios that we had was actually inside his studio. When we were transitioning between one studio to the next, our studio was where Glasses was. He welcomed us with open arms, and at that time, I got a chance to see how much of a debater he is. They would debate for 3-4. I'm like, yo, I gotta go, man. I'm out of here. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about the moon landing and all these other things, man.
Oh my God, we've had to restart our cameras numerous times when he comes on the show and pause it because we're just going into a debate.
No, hold up,
No, hold up, cuz.
And once he see this, I know he's gonna blow me up. Like, man, bro, you should chill. So I don't know, man. But the big thing going on that just happened, Mayweather, Jake Logan Paul with the difference. I just think Mayweather's stealing money. What's y'all takes on that, man? They just taking our money. He made $100 million.
He got a bag. I'm not mad at him getting a bag. See, the thing is, he figured a way to keep people entertained, right? Or at least a lot of people bought the fight or whatever the case means. He got the bag, got people interested enough for them to have this thing. I think it brings interest to the sport of boxing, but I don't know if long term if that's going to be good or bad. But I know for sure everybody was talking about it that damn night, right? And leading up to it. So I mean, but he's figured out his lane. He knows what's going to happen, and he figured out a way where it's going to not necessarily tarnish his legacy. So I mean, but that's up for debate depending on who you ask. You know.
Yeah. Hey, I watched it for free, so I wasn't complaining.
Exactly.
Hey, don't say that online. Remember, they just tried to sue someone else for that.
Oh, really?
No. He watched it for free by being at somebody else's house who ordered the fight. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't pay for it. He didn't pay for it. I did the same thing.
Yeah. You two were at my place. We watched it last night.
I was at the homie house, and I'm like, you paying for it? I might as well enjoy it with you.
You probably even kicked in. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. You know.
You brought the chips.
There it is. That was your contribution.
Facts, man. So I can never hate on the black man getting $100 million. So much love to him. I love boxing. I just don't want to see the Paul brothers in the ring and making more money than professional fighters. I hate it. Hines, what's your take, man, before we get out of here?
Look, I'll just make this short and sweet. It was a cash grab. Floyd made it very clear it was a cash grab. Logan
robbery
somehow went the distance with them. Both those brothers need to get knocked the crap out of them. I'm looking forward to it. The best part of last night's fight, as I am a vintage Pokemon card seller, was seeing like a PSA 10 card. You know that he was potentially carrying anywhere between $200,000 to $500,000 around his neck just for
I thought it was $1 million. It's not wasn't $1 million?
Potentially $1 million.
Okay.
Potentially.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because it's kind of like how the market works. You know, you don't know the value until someone else comes and gives you an offer, right?
Wow.
But look, the fight was a waste of time. I'm so glad I didn't pay for it. I'm really hoping that Woodley knocks the living crap out of his brother And look, as you had mentioned, is it good for the sport of boxing? No, it's not, because yes, it brings the eyes immediately, but what does everyone realize? That it was a fake fight. It wasn't worth it, and it makes people pissed. So they don't go do it later. There's a reason why MMA is taking over and UFC is winning.
I got a great idea. If Tyron Woodley can't do it, Michael and Alex versus Jake and Logan tag team. We about to do this, baby.
Michael, out of the two of us, I'm the only one that's a black belt. I can't cover your ass for 100% of the time.
Hey, just like James Brown said, I don't know karate, but I know
crazy.
I got one thing about that I do like, and people might give me flack for it, but I like the idea of being able to say you're gonna do something and pulling it off. So for that undercard, the underdog story, I love that about the Logan brother. I mean the Paul brothers, but I like that part of it, but I can understand why people don't appreciate it. But just for that itself alone, it's like, hey man, they said they were gonna do something and they made it happen. Figure out how. Just the overall message is figure out how you can do that and apply that in your life.
Facts. He was in the ring with a GOAT, so I respect it.
It sounds like what you're saying is I respect that one aspect of the fight. Everything else, though, I don't respect and I didn't like at all.
Don't add me. Don't add me.
Yes!
Don't add me, bro.
Hey, Himes, let's get up out of here. Hey, so before we go, Chuck Dizzle, let everybody know where they can find you at and all the great work you're doing, bro.
At Chuck Dizzle everywhere on the social platforms, at Homegrown Radio everywhere. You can catch me and my boy DJ Head every night, 7:00 on Real 92.3, Monday through Saturday. iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. And man, I would even tell you all the stations that I'm on right now, but it's gonna take too damn long. So stay connected with me on the socials and figure it out. That's an amazing blessing, but I gotta figure a way to streamline that into a sentence. So just at Chuck Dizzle, you'll figure out exactly where I'm at.
Thanks, bro. So Hans, take it away.
Hey, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, search for us on all streaming platforms. You know what it is. It's Don't At Me with Alex and Michael. And as usual, thank you again for tuning in. I am at HimesLA on all social medias. To my left on my screen is Michael, who is at Michael the PG on all social medias. And it's always a pleasure. I want to say that we get to bring on someone from the show from California, from LA, and also that's come up in the scene and is doing it great. So congratulations, Chuck. Keep on the hustle. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, man. Appreciate y'all.